66 million years ago, Tyrannosaurus rex reigned as the uncrowned king of the dinosaurs. But its story did not begin with glory. From small, feathered hunters in the shadows of the Jurassic to the mighty giant of the Cretaceous, the journey of T.rex was an epic of survival, adaptation, and domination. Today, we will explore how the king of dinosaurs was truly forged. When people think of Tyrannosaurus rex, most of us immediately picture a giant over 40 feet tall, weighing many tons, with dagger-sized teeth capable of crushing bone in a single bite. Yet what few realize is that this king of the dinosaurs actually began with humble, small ancestors, almost insignificant in the world of giant Jurassic dinosaurs. Around 165 million years ago, when Earth was still a warm, humid planet covered in endless fern forests, the distant ancestor of T.rex first appeared, Cretaceous. On the surface, this dinosaur hardly resembled the image of an apex predator. It was only about 10 feet long, the height of an adult human, and weighed no more than a few hundred pounds. What stood out was a small crest on its head, a strange evolutionary feature that later became a crucial clue for scientists tracing the tyrannosaur lineage. Cretaceous was not the ruler of its ecosystem. At that time, the truly terrifying hunters were members of the Allosaurid family, giants many times larger. Placed side by side with an Allosaurus, Cretaceous was dwarfed in comparison. One was a majestic lord, the other just a small scavenger forced to rely on speed and agility to survive. Yet it was precisely this ordinariness that laid the foundation for an extraordinary evolutionary journey. Though small, Cretaceous already possessed traits that its descendants would later perfect. A long skull, sharp teeth, and strong legs built for speed. This was the blueprint draft for later tyrannosaurids. Moving into the Cretaceous, the descendants of Cretaceous began to show important changes. Species like Dilong, only 5 feet long, carried an unexpected trait, a coat of fine feathers covering the body. This proved that the ancestors of T.rex were not bald as often portrayed in movies, but likely feathered, using them for warmth and camouflage in colder environments. The appearance of feathers opened a new evolutionary path, greater adaptability to different climates. Following this came one of the most striking evolutionary steps, Yutyrannus, the feathered tyrant lizard. Unlike the small Dilong, Yutyrannus was massive, nearly 30 feet long, weighing about 3,300 pounds, and still covered head to toe in feathers. It is considered a key link, proving that even large predators once bore feathers. Looking back at this journey, we see a clear evolutionary rule. From small, vulnerable creatures, tyrannosaurids gradually grew larger, stronger, and better adapted. Each evolutionary step was like a puzzle piece, slowly assembling the form of the future king of dinosaurs. Interestingly, for tens of millions of years, tyrannosaurids remained second class in the ecosystem. Other giant predators still ruled, while they were only mid-sized hunters, living in the shadows of the true giants. But this was how they trained, honing speed, cunning, and adaptability to diverse environments. And when the opportunity came, as the great rulers vanished, the tyrannosaurids were ready to step onto the stage of history. From small ancestors like Cretaceous or Dilong, the tyrannosaurid lineage did not stop there. Evolution never rests, and over tens of millions of years, they kept changing, refining themselves to adapt better to the environment. It was these turning points that gradually transformed mid-tier predators into terrifying giants, paving the way for the rise of T.rex. About 125 million years ago, in what is now China, a remarkable tyrannosaur appeared, Yutyrannus huali, also known as the feathered tyrant. Unlike the familiar image of scaly, bare-skinned tyrannosaurs, Yutyrannus had a thick coat of feathers covering its body. At nearly 30 feet long and weighing over 2,000 pounds, Yutyrannus was not only the largest tyrannosaur known at the time, but also proof that even giant predators could wear a feathered coat. This opened an intriguing question. Could the mighty T.rex itself have had at least some feathers as a juvenile? Feathers were not only for warmth in cold climates, but may also have served in communication, display, or camouflage. The appearance of Yutyrannus showed that tyrannosaurids were constantly experimenting with new biological traits to optimize survival. But it wasn't only the outer coat that evolved. Tyrannosaurids also advanced in bone and muscle structure. Through fossils, scientists observed that their skulls became larger and stronger, jaws thicker, and tooth joints sturdier. This allowed their bite force to gradually increase over time, from being only enough to tear flesh to becoming a weapon capable of crushing bone, a trait that would peak in T.rex. Another crucial development was stereoscopic vision. Many tyrannosaurids had eyes facing forward instead of to the sides like other dinosaurs. This gave them three-dimensional sight and precise depth perception, an invaluable skill for hunting. In short, tyrannosaurids were being redesigned into perfect killers. Sharper vision, stronger bites, and steadily larger bodies. During this stage, many mid-sized tyrannosaurs emerged, spreading widely across Asia and North America. For example, Yutyrannus, about 13 to 16 feet long, represented the transition from small hunters to mid-sized predators. Fossils found in Europe revealed they had spread into multiple regions, proving the impressive adaptability of this lineage. Each new species carried its own evolutionary experiment. Some focused on speed, others on size, and still others on intelligence and vision. Not all were successful. Many branches went extinct before leaving a mark. But over millions of years, natural selection eliminated weaknesses and preserved the most effective traits. One can imagine this process as a trial run, lasting tens of millions of years, with nature continuously fine-tuning and upgrading tyrannosaurids to prepare for something greater. After tens of millions of years of evolution and experimentation, tyrannosaurids gradually shed the image of being small and insignificant. By the mid-Cretaceous, they were rising, becoming mid-sized predators, no longer completely anonymous in the dinosaur world. This was the pivotal era when tyrannosaurids were preparing to explode in power and seize the throne. One key representative of this stage was Apalachiosaurus, living about 80 million years ago in what is now North America. At 23 to 26 feet long and weighing about 3,300 pounds, Apalachiosaurus had clearly surpassed its smaller ancestors like Dylon or Yutyrannus. It was not yet massive enough to be the undisputed ruler, but its size placed Apalachiosaurus firmly among the fearsome hunters, capable of tackling many medium-sized herbivorous dinosaurs in its ecosystem. What stood out was that these mid-sized tyrannosaurs were already showing increasingly distinct evolutionary traits. Large skulls, strong jaws, and bite forces far more powerful than their body size would suggest. Though not yet at the destructive level of T.rex, Apalachiosaurus and similar species already displayed the fearsome potential of the entire lineage. Beyond Apalachiosaurus, North America also preserves evidence of several other mid-sized tyrannosaurs such as Albertosaurus and Daspletosaurus. These species were the close cousins of T.rex, appearing before the true king was born. Albertosaurus, about 30 feet long and weighing over 4,000 pounds, is thought to have been the faster hunter, relying on speed to chase down prey. Daspletosaurus, on the other hand, was bulkier and stronger, with large teeth and a powerful bite, serving as the apex predator in its environment. This shows that tyrannosaurids had begun to diversify survival strategies. Some opted for agility, while others relied on brute strength. And it was precisely this diversity that allowed the entire lineage to broaden its survival chances, ready to adapt when environments changed. During this stage, fossil evidence even hints that tyrannosaurids may have hunted in groups. For example, in Canada, scientists found multiple Albertosaurus fossils in the same site, leading to the hypothesis that they may have moved in packs, at least during certain life stages. If true, then tyrannosaurids were evolving not only in physical power but also in social behavior, making them far deadlier hunters. Compared with the giants of the era, such as Spinosaurus or Carcharodontosaurus, Mid-sized tyrannosaurids still did not reach the same stature to compete directly, but the difference lay in evolutionary patience. While many giants gradually disappeared, tyrannosaurids continued to grow and expand their range. They did not rush to become kings, but quietly accumulated advantages. Geographically, mid-Cretaceous tyrannosaurids were spread widely across North America and Asia. This distribution proved their flexible adaptability to diverse environments, from dense forests and river plains to even coastal regions. This was a crucial factor that helped the lineage survive numerous geological and climatic upheavals. One can imagine this middle stage as a massive stepping stone. These mid-sized tyrannosaurs were not yet lords of the land, but they formed the essential bridge between small ancestors and the eventual rise of T.rex. Without this period of build-up, the colossal Tyrannosaurus rex would never have appeared at the end of the Cretaceous. After tens of millions of years of patient evolution, from small hunters to mid-sized predators, tyrannosaurids finally reached the height of power. Around 68 to 66 million years ago, in the closing chapter of the Cretaceous, Earth witnessed the emergence of a legendary creature, Tyrannosaurus rex, the uncrowned king of the dinosaurs. From the moment the first T.rex fossil was discovered in 1902 in Montana, United States, this dinosaur shocked the scientific world and quickly became an icon in popular culture. But beyond the image of movies and comics, T.rex was truly a masterpiece of evolution, a perfect hunting machine painstakingly crafted by nature. T.rex measured about 40 to 43 feet long, stood up to 13 feet tall at the hips, and weighed between 16,000 and 20,000 pounds. Placed next to a double-decker bus, T.rex would be even larger. With its massive body, a skull over 5 feet long and dagger-like teeth, T.rex was not only the largest predator in North America of its time, but also among the greatest carnivorous dinosaurs ever to walk the earth. What made T.rex legendary was its bite force, the strongest of any land animal in history. Scientists estimate that each bite of T.rex generated between 12,000 and 16,000 pounds of force, enough to crush the thick bones of an adult triceratops. For comparison, the bite force of a modern great white shark is only about 4,000 pounds. This made the jaws of T.rex not only killing weapons, but also tools for cracking bones to extract marrow, a rich source of energy. Contrary to the image of relying only on smell in some movies, research shows that T.rex had extremely well-developed stereoscopic vision. Its forward-facing eyes allowed it to see in 3 dimensions and judge distance with deadly accuracy when attacking. The eyesight of T.rex may even have surpassed that of today's eagles. On top of that, its sense of smell ranked among the sharpest, able to detect prey or carrion from very far away. Even though it weighed many tons, T.rex was not slow. Biological models suggest it could move at speeds of 12 to 19 miles per hour. That was astonishing for such a massive creature, fast enough to chase down many herbivorous dinosaurs of its time. However, instead of sprinting at top speed, T.rex likely relied on stealth and sudden bursts of power at the decisive moment. The biggest enemies on T.rex's menu were Triceratops, the 3-horned giant weighing many tons, or Edmontosaurus, a massive duck-billed dinosaur. Clashes between T.rex and Triceratops must have been earth-shaking battles, with deadly horn thrusts colliding against bone-crushing bites. The age-old question, was T.rex a predator or a scavenger? Some scientists argued that with its ultra-sensitive sense of smell, it may have specialized in finding carcasses. But fossil evidence shows many healed bite marks on Triceratops' bones, proving T.rex attacked living prey. The truth is likely somewhere in between. T.rex was an opportunistic hunter, able to kill its targets but also ready to exploit carcasses whenever possible. Did T.rex live alone or in groups? That remains a mystery. Some fossil finds of multiple T.rex individuals in one location suggest they may have gathered under certain conditions, perhaps for group hunting or competing over food. If the group hunting hypothesis is correct, then the destructive power of T.rex would have been far greater than we usually imagine. Unlike its mid-sized ancestors who lived in the shadows, T-rex truly became the apex predator, the absolute ruler of its ecosystem. On the land of late Cretaceous North America, virtually no creature could challenge T-rex. It was the embodiment of evolutionary power, from a small overlooked lineage to the king of the dinosaur world. T-rex had reached the pinnacle of dominance. For the final millions of years of the Cretaceous, it ruled the North American plains, unchallenged by any rival. Yet even a king could not resist the power that came from beyond the stars. 66 million years ago, a morning that seemed ordinary became a moment of destiny. From the depths of space, an asteroid nearly 6 miles wide hurtled toward Earth at a terrifying speed, 20 times faster than a bullet. It slammed into what is now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, creating the colossal Chicxulub crater. The impact released energy equivalent to 10 billion nuclear bombs, enough to reshape the entire planet. In an instant, the sky blazed, shockwaves leveled everything within hundreds of miles. Forests collapsed, volcanoes awakened, and a wall of water hundreds of feet tall surged from the ocean, wiping out all coastal life in its path. But the true catastrophe did not end at the moment of impact. As the asteroid tore through the atmosphere, it blasted billions of tons of rock dust and sulfur into the sky. Within just a few days, the entire planet was shrouded in a thick veil of ash and dust, blocking out sunlight. Plants could no longer photosynthesize, and the food chain collapsed at its roots. This was the impact winter, lasting not for days, but for years. For giants like T-rex, it was a death sentence. They required enormous amounts of food to sustain their bodies, but as plants withered, the herbivores fell, dragging down the entire ecosystem with them. Meanwhile, smaller creatures, birds, mouse-sized mammals, could hide easily and needed far less energy to survive. Some fossils of Triceratops and T-rex show traces of their final days, right before extinction. Perhaps in those last moments, T-rex individuals still hunted, still roared into the ash-darkened skies, unaware that their world was collapsing. It was a tragedy. The mightiest king of its era brought down not by any visible enemy, but by nature's merciless hand. In less than a few thousand years, a blink of an eye in geological time, all non-avian dinosaurs, including T-rex, were gone. This event is known as the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction, one of the greatest mass extinctions in Earth's history. More than 75% of all species vanished, closing the chapter on the dinosaurs' reign that had lasted over 150 million years. Yet the death of T-rex did not mean the Tyrannosaurid legacy was completely erased. The cataclysm 66 million years ago ended the glorious dynasty of the dinosaurs. T-rex and countless other giants disappeared, leaving a vast void in ecosystems. But the miracle was this: life itself did not vanish. In the ash-filled darkness, some small creatures endured the disaster and continued the story of evolution. Among them, the most important were birds, the direct descendants of dinosaurs. Many studies show that a branch of small theropod dinosaurs, distant relatives of T-rex, survived the extinction. They were small, feathered, lightweight, and most importantly, omnivorous, able to eat a wide variety of foods to survive scarcity. As the dust gradually cleared, Earth entered the Paleogene period and birds spread and diversified dramatically. From just a few small species, they evolved into the thousands we see today, from tiny sparrows to mighty eagles. And every time a bird takes flight, it is the living echo of dinosaurs still present in our modern world. In other words, dinosaurs never truly disappeared. Not only birds, but small mammals also seized the opportunity left behind by the vanished giants. Once they had lived in the shadows, hiding from the rulers of the world. Now, with ecosystems wide open, mammals began to flourish, gradually becoming the dominant force. And among them, tens of millions of years later, humans emerged. One could say that without that fateful impact, humanity might never have existed. For T-rex, its legacy does not live only in fossils or museums. It still exists in the DNA of today's birds, in the image of a hawk diving from the sky, or the screech of an owl in the night. This is the miraculous continuation, from giants that ruled the land to small creatures that conquered the skies. The legacy of T-rex also lives in the human imagination. Its image has become an eternal symbol of power, fear, and the greatness of nature. From films like Jurassic Park to video games, T.rex is always remembered as the king of dinosaurs, a cultural legacy that transcends time. Looking back, the extinction of T.rex was not truly an end. It was a turning point, opening the door to a new era. Dinosaurs fell, but life persisted even stronger than before. That very destruction laid the foundation for today's biodiversity, and ultimately for the appearance of us. So whenever you look up at the sky and see a flock of birds take flight, remember that you are witnessing the last dinosaurs still alive. The descendants of T.rex are all around us, no longer roaring, but still a living testament to the enduring power of evolution. And the question remains, if another asteroid were to appear in the future, would humans, the rulers of today, be strong enough to survive as those small birds once did?